Hey everyone, it's me, Matthew. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Last time, we talked about King Saul. He was a good king at first, but soon led the people of Israel away from God. Not so good. So God chose a new king, David. He chose David based on his heart instead of the outside appearance. Today, we're going to talk more about David and his trust in God. Come on. Bible. Story time. Bible story time. Last we left off, David had just been picked to be the next king, but he wasn't king yet. And while he waited, he worked as a shepherd for his dad, Jesse. And while this event had taken place, the rest of the world had kept moving forward. And we see in 1 Samuel chapter 17 that the Israelites were at war with the Philistines. Now, the Philistines were a group of people in the Bible that always seemed to be fighting. Like always. And for this particular battle, the Philistines had a secret weapon. A giant of a man, standing roughly 9 feet tall, hulking with muscle and intimidation. The man's name? Goliath. And Goliath would come out of the Philistine camp every morning and yell at the Israelites, "Send a man to fight me! If I win, you become our slaves, and if you win, we become yours. Fight me!" The Israelites cowered in fear at the sight of Goliath. No one wanted to deal with him. He was a big problem in their eyes. Question: what's a problem that you have faced that seemed too big to handle? Talk about it. I have faced a bunch of those in my lifetime. Oof, I'm getting old. One problem that I remember being a real big challenge for me was raising support to be a missionary. I found it super intimidating to go and ask people to support what God was calling me and my family to. I really had to trust God that He would provide. And He did. The Israelites were shaken in their boots, totally scared of Goliath. And while they were at the front lines of battle, David was back at home tending his sheep. And the reason he wasn't at the front lines was because he was young. Some scholars, people who do research, say that David was possibly as young as 15 years old. Now that's pretty young. And while no one knows exactly how young David was, we do know the Bible calls him a boy, or he was just in his youth, signifying that he was pretty young. His dad, Jesse, tells him to go to the Israelite camp and go see his brothers, his 3 oldest brothers, and see how they're doing and give them some food. David arrives, greets his brothers, and then sees Goliath and sees all the Israelites that were completely scared. And he asks, What shall be done for the man who kills this Philistine and takes the reproach away from Israel? For this Philistine defies the armies of the living God. The king will make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. And I hear the man who kills him will have his father's house be free in the land of Israel. And I think I get to marry his daughter. I'm so scared. And instead of being scared, David says that he will fight Goliath. And word starts to spread around camp. And eventually word gets to King Saul, and King Saul summons him. Your servant shall go and fight this Philistine. You cannot go against him, for you are just a boy. He is a boy that has been studying war for his whole life. Your servant has been tending his father's sheep. And when a lion or a bear comes and takes a sheep, I go after it. And I strike it to let the sheep get away. And when the bear or lion turns on me, I grab it by its fur and kill it. This Philistine will be like the lion and the bear. He shall be dead. For the Lord rescues me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear. And he will rescue me when I fight this Philistine. Go see my armorer. He will give you my armor. Saul agrees to let David fight, but he wants to provide him with some protection, so he gives David his armor and his sword. I cannot use these. I'm not used to them. I will go with what I'm used to. Whoa. Wait a minute. David didn't take the armor? He didn't take the sword? He isn't going into battle? Isn't he going to need those things? Well, they seemed pretty useful. David knew that they weren't going to be useful to him. He had confidence in what God had already gifted him with, instead of using something new. Pretty cool. Back to the story. Fight me! Send a man to fight me! You come against me with spear and shield and sword. I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, and you have defiled him. You shall be struck down this day, and everyone will know that the Lord is with me in this battle, and the battle is the Lord's battle. Am I a dog to you, that you send me a stick to fight? You are so puny. Come here, so I can end you quickly. Perish, you foul fiend. Ooh. Goliath stumbles and falls dead to the ground. The Israelites let out a mighty cheer. The Philistines, they run away. David brought victory to the Israelites because he trusted in God, and God helped him. Question: have you ever been told you can't do something because you're young? Talk about it. David had that happen to him. He was just there to help. I can understand the reasons why King Saul said no. Right? He was young, and there was death involved. Pretty good reasons. But David didn't take no for an answer. Instead, he talked to King Saul, calmly and in a respectable manner, the reasons why he was going to go fight Goliath. He told him that God was going to be with him, and that God was going to use him to bring victory in this battle. King Saul let David go fight Goliath. David got victory, and God was glorified. Now, you might have had a time in your life where you felt real strongly about something and you needed to do it, whether God told you to do it or not. And during those times, you might have heard the words, "No, you cannot," or "You are too young." I would strongly encourage you that if you do feel strongly about accomplishing a task, that you think about it and communicate clearly the reasons why you want to do that task. And don't just get angry and start whining and yelling when you're told you're too young or you can't, because those types of actions usually show that you're not ready to do the thing that you want to do. A final thought for us to think about during the week. The story of David shows us that even though you're young, God can use you in big and powerful ways. Trust God and let Him use you to change the world around you. Talk about it this week with somebody you trust. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.